In the beginning, Genesis, human relationship with the holy God started in the garden. Genesis chapter 2. There's an old song that's usually done at funerals, and I don't really know why necessarily, because, well, anyway, I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Communication started in the garden. Life started in the garden. Gardens are often spoken of in Scripture as symbols of life and growth, wisdom, physical places of beauty and provision, hope and restoration, metaphors for spiritual life, growth, and God's blessings. Gardening is not about just planting physical seeds, but it's an incredible experience that brings us closer to God. It teaches us that growth requires patience, care, and time. Anybody here do gardening, whether that's flowers or food or, yeah, well, bless your hearts, you guys are my heroes because I killed a cactus. So that is not my forte. If something happens to the grocery store, we are going to be very hungry because none of that makes any sense to me. I remember when Abby was little, she wanted to do a container garden of strawberries. I'm like, how hard can this be? They died very quickly. And actually, my husband watched me kill off a lot of things. And when we got pregnant with Abigail, he's like, are you sure you can do this? Couldn't even keep a plant alive. And I said, well, I think kids are probably a little more resilient than plants. And when they started bringing plants home from school, I would take them to work. And just Mary was a green thumb. She had flowers everywhere. So I would take them to her, and I'd be like, can you just keep this alive for a little bit? And she always kind of fussed at me, especially when they started dying off and I wanted to throw them away. She's like, oh, you never throw a living thing away. I'm like, well, look at it. So gardening is not my thing. I love it, and I love the beauty of a garden. But I may not know much, but I recognize gardens don't just happen. They are work. My grandparents gardened, and when we were young, we would go help weed. That was a lot of fun back in the day. It would not be fun now. But they had a gigantic garden. It was like a half of a, I don't even know. You know where it was. I've showed you down by Grandma's house. It was very big, and they planted all kinds of things. And when I went home that one year to help take care of my grandpa before he passed, he said he was hungry for salad, and I was like, well, we're out. I'll have to go to the store. And Grandma said, or you could just go outside and get some. Well, yeah, I forgot. I forgot that was out there. The whole garden, the whole salad was out in her backyard, and I forgot all about it. But it does take time, it takes patience, and it takes work. I am more about fake, because look at that. But a lot of times our lives, we're satisfied with living with fake when that's not what God wants for us at all. It requires some stuff. So while gardens may be beautiful, they are also a place of struggle. Think about the little seed, just a little tiny seed deep in the ground. It's just planted there. It has no idea, struggling against the soil and conditions to break open and bloom. And once it does kind of make its way to the top, then what happens? Then it has to struggle to stay alive in various elements. I've seen different pictures of like hailstorms and stuff, or big winds, corn during the derecho, how all of the cornfields were just leveled. Pruning, watering, sun, weeds, animals. I kind of chuckled because Butch and Josh have been planting this garden out front, and it's coming up. It's just slow because that's my fault, because I asked for wildflowers. They were just going to plant plants in it. So anyway, I called Butch last year. I was like, hey, the cameras keep going off and the deer are out there eating all those plants. So it takes a lot. There's a lot that happens. Gardens appear frequently in Scripture: the Garden of Eden, well-watered plains of Jordan, Genesis 13, as a reward for godliness in Isaiah 58, at the place where Jesus was crucified in John, in heaven, Revelations 22, the Garden of God, Ezekiel, and I didn't even know that existed. Jesus' burial place in John, the parable of the sower Jesus talked about, the Garden of Gethsemane in Matthew 26. Gardens in the Bible are more than physical spaces. They are rich symbols of life, obedience, spiritual struggle, and divine blessing. You think about the people. How many of you have ever felt like you're just being pruned down to nothing? There are days that it's like, really, how much more? What else? Think about Jochebed. She gave up her son to save him. Then he became the hands and feet of the Redeemer. She held her baby Moses close in a season filled with fear, protecting him with everything she had for as long as she could. But there came a moment when she could no longer keep him safe, and with courage, she placed him in a basket and set him on the water, trusting God to watch over the child that she loved so deeply. Her story speaks of parents who have had to release their children into God's care, believing that He will protect them when we cannot. Ruth went from begging in the field to owning the field. She's in the lineage of Jesus, and her statement was, where you go, I'm going to go. Your people are going to be my people. Your God is going to be my God. Esther was just a servant girl, and she became the queen, and her words were, if I perish, I perish. Perhaps, her uncle said to her, perhaps you were brought to the kingdom for such a time as this. Hannah was childless. She went from childless to birthing one of the greatest prophets in the Old Testament, Samuel. She knew the ache of wanting a child and wondering if her prayers would ever be answered. She carried years of longing before God blessed her with her son. And think about that every year, going to the temple and just praying, God, just give me a son. Just bless my life. How many of you have prayed prayers that you have prayed for years and years and years? And some of you may still be praying those prayers, but God is faithful. And He answers. And we may not always get the way He answers, and we may not, quite frankly, like the way He answers, but He does hear. He does answer. And when her prayer was finally fulfilled, she trusted God enough to give her son back. Her story speaks of those who are waiting and praying and trusting God with every dream. And Job, what did he say? He lost everything. He was wealthy. He lost everything. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Just as a little side note here, Brother Frankfurt called me, I don't even know, last year or the year before. I was at a meeting, so I didn't take the call. And they had a trivia, and I guess one of the questions Brother Traven had asked was, who said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him? And I guess our youth responded with Tammie. Those aren't just words. I've come to know and be able to trust enough that though he slay me, yet will I trust him. In Job 13, Joseph, we've heard so much about Joseph and his life, and he was literally buried deep in a pit. His brothers tossed him in like nothing, and then he ended up in jail. And think of all the things he went through, but what did he say to his brothers in Genesis 50? But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. And David, oh my goodness, his life, all the chaos, all the ups and the downs, the being chased, the bad things he did. We only like to really talk about his good stuff and all of his heroic efforts, but he was a mess. And he had hills and valleys, and he had places where he was in a cave hiding for his life. And he had other times where, he's on the mountaintop with God. He also had times where the prophet had to come and say, David, you are the man. You messed up. And not only did you mess up, but you messed up big. And you killed somebody. Think about that. But what did he say in Psalm 23? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. And if this doesn't speak of a garden to you, it certainly does to me. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. He doesn't say, I'm going to keep you from your enemies, but he's going to give us enough peace to just sit down and have dinner. Let them fuss. Let them do their thing. Let them surround me. I know who holds my future. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. What about the disciples? Think about where they found themselves. They were literally in the garden, walking with Jesus, watching him suffer and die, watching him be betrayed by somebody who sat at the table with them. Betrayal is going to happen. Hurt is going to happen. Hard times are going to come. But it was said of them in Acts, this is they which turned their world upside down. They weren't satisfied to stay in that garden, but they took what they knew and they took what they trusted and they took the word and walked out. So think about the dark and confusing times of these men and ladies chosen to fulfill God's purpose. We must speak life. Life happens in the garden. Good life, bad life, hard life, fun life, it all happens in the garden. There are times that we may not get it. Death and life are in the power of our tongue. Your body listens to the words you speak. Your mind believes what you repeat. Speak life. What did Jesus say? Consider the lilies. They don't worry about how they're going to be clothed or how they're going to look. Why should we do any different? Cast your cares on him, 1 Peter. Cast your cares on him. Why? Because he cares for you. And sometimes it doesn't feel like he cares when we're buried deep in the garden, when we're being pruned, when things are being cut away, but all he's doing is making us more like him. And shouldn't that be our ultimate goal, to be more like Jesus? Stop saying I'm sick, start saying I'm healing. Stop saying I can't, start saying I'm learning. Stop saying life is hard, start saying I am blessed. Stop saying I'm tired, start saying I'm getting stronger. Stop saying I'm stressed, start saying I'm growing through this. Stop saying I'm unlucky, start saying everything is working out. Stop saying nothing is working, start saying I'll figure it out. Stop saying I'm overwhelmed, start saying I'm becoming better. Stop saying I don't have time, start saying I'm grateful for today. Stop saying I failed, start saying this is part of my journey. For me, I'm going to start saying I'm in the garden. He's still working on me. We have fumbled our way through that old Sunday school song, to make me what I ought to be. Took him just a week to make the moon and the stars, the sun and the earth, and Jupiter and Mars. Oh, how loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. My sisters are both taller than me. Well, most people are taller than me. And I used to just tell them, that's okay, God only grows things to perfection. I got there much quicker than you did. So for all my short friends today, just know it's perfect. God doesn't make a mistake. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. If your gospel demands nothing, it produces nothing. If nothing is forming in you, something is deceiving you. The fruit is not for the benefit of the tree. Your gifts are not for you. They are for those who pass by. Think about the animals and the things that are in the garden to eat things up. And look at the garden way back in Genesis. Who was there? The serpent. I hate snakes. I also don't like spiders and mice, and I don't like any of that stuff. That's why I like concrete. I can at least see what's coming at me. It's probably the other reason gardening doesn't work well for me. You can't grow much on a hard surface, but there's things in there, and I don't want anything to do with that stuff. I want my mind to be pure and holy and like Jesus. We have hope because Jesus said in John 16:33, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In this world you're going to have tribulation. He said that. So don't be shocked when it happens. But be of good cheer, because he also said this, I have overcome the world. We don't just live in this world and try to make our way through it and just hope he notices that, oh dear, my goodness, my little flower, she's down there struggling a bit. I probably better give her a drink. That's what happens in my house. Or, well, that looks a little dry. I think I'm going to water it. And then it dies because that was too much. But he looks at us and says, I've got this. You don't worry. I've got this. You're beautiful, just like a lily. I know every single hair on your head, or the lack thereof. I've got this. I've got you. You may be in the garden. You may be feeling like you have no answer or no explanation, but he's got you. And I can't say that strongly enough, and especially over the last probably 10 years of my life. He has showed me time and time again. Why do I worry? Because I still do. And then I get mad at myself because I'm like, why? When has he ever failed? He has always come through. Has he always done it the way I've wanted him to? No. And he doesn't always listen to my plans and my ideas. Actually, he never does. And they're good sometimes. I kind of pride myself on being organized and having stuff together, and he just does it his way. Imagine that. So let's shift our focus. 1 Peter 5:10 says, "But the God of all grace, who has called us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after that ye have suffered a while." It's going to happen. He's doing it to make you perfect, to establish and strengthen and settle you. It's not going to stay. It's a season. Just like flowers don't live all winter long. They don't, unfortunately. They're going to die off, and they're going to come back if they're the kind that do that. What are those even called? I don't know. I know you can plant something and it just comes back and back and back. I guess that's what I want to be, if anything. Let me be one of, what is that? That's what I want to be, a perennial. Let's go with that. Where you just be planted and then you just keep coming back. You never give up. So let's shift our focus from our discomfort, disillusionment, and pain, whatever we want to call whatever it is we're going through, to what he is working in us. I'm in the garden. Say that with me today. I'm in the garden. And truthfully, until you get to heaven, you're always going to be in the garden. He's always going to be working on you if you allow him. And if you don't, well, you're still in the garden. And that pruning is going to be a little more painful probably. And he alludes to that. 2 Corinthians 4:7, 9, 16, and 17. "But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us." This is not about us. And the sooner we learn that in our lives, the better off we are. This is not about us. It is not about me. I have nothing to give you. I cannot save you. I can't damn you. I can't do anything but love you, because that's what Jesus has called us to do. Only he can do it. The excellency of the power of God may be of God, but not of us. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction. When I read that, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Light. Our light affliction, which is but for a moment. It may be feeling like a lifetime right now, but it's only a moment. And it's for a reason. It's working a far exceeding an eternal weight of glory. When you get to heaven, it's not going to matter what you went through on this earth to get you there. And I assure you, everything he's doing to you in the garden is getting you to heaven. It's okay. It's okay. Micah 7:7 and 8 says, "Therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemies." I have quoted this verse since I heard it for the very first time in a youth camp. Oh, I was probably 12 years old. "Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall," I'm going to fall because I'm just human. I'm going to make a mess of things. "I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me." Isaiah 54 says, "O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors and lay the foundations with sapphires, and all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of all thy children. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord." The Passion Translation says it this way: "But I promise you, no weapon meant to harm you will succeed, and you will refute every accusing word spoken against you. This is the promise and the inheritance of Yahweh's servants, and their vindication is from me." I heard this the other day, and it's kind of touched me. I'm spending some time with a lady going through breast cancer, and I sent it off to her, but God will get the glory, whether through our healing or through his sustaining. And if any of you have been through any long-term illness, sometimes his sustaining power is almost greater than the healing itself. When he holds us in his hand and he keeps us in a place where we can keep going regardless of what's going on in our lives, only him. Because there are days that you don't want to get out of bed. There are days you just want to say, you know what, I've had enough. I don't want to do this anymore. There's something about the hand of God and the love of God that comes underneath and says, my strength is made perfect in your weakness. And Paul said, I'll gladly suffer this. Because when I'm weak, then you're strong. And there is something powerful about the sustaining mercy and love of Jesus Christ. He is working all things together for good. Romans 8:28 in the Passion Translation says, so we are convinced that every detail of our lives is continually woven together for good, for we are his who have been called and designed to fulfill his purpose. Just as we wait for plants to bloom, we must trust that God is working behind the scenes to cultivate something beautiful in us, even in our own messes. How many of us have done that? Created a mess of our own, and then we're like, now what? God can't fix this. He can't love me through this. He can't make this better. I'm going to tell you right now, he's not surprised. He saw it coming, probably hoping you would make a different choice, but you didn't. And now you have a mess on your hands. So what? You turn it over to him and let his love sustain you. Oh, that old song, my goodness, something beautiful, something good. All my confusion, he understood. All I had to offer him was brokenness and strife. Look at, he made something beautiful of my life. Just as plants need the right conditions to thrive, we also need the right spiritual environment to flourish. Prayer allows us to establish and maintain that vital connection, fostering relationship that helps us discern God's will in our lives. Think about the garden. In the very beginning, what did he do there? What was the point? It was a place where he could come and meet with Adam and Eve. And it said he came every day to talk with them, to spend time with them. That's probably our very first pattern for prayer right there, right in the beginning, right in Genesis. We don't have to wait until you get further into the Bible to know how important prayer and communication with God is. And that's our sustaining. It's where we draw close to him and he draws closer to us. Talking with the hyphen the other night, the Elena and Olivia Plemer put together the lesson. They did an amazing job. It ministered to me, and they did some rapid fire question stuff, and we were talking a little bit about holiness and just what if somebody doesn't believe and how to talk with them. As we desire to be more holy as he is holy, we will find ourselves desiring to please him. Our convictions increase. So if your convictions are decreasing and you're finding yourself less concerned about the things you're doing, that's probably a sign that you've kind of moved away from the garden. Our self decreases, changing habits. What does the Bible say? He must increase. And so he can do that. I have to become less. We change our habits, our thought processes, our actions, etc. Life happens to all of us. We're all going to go through mountaintops and valleys. And while we prefer those mountaintops, they're beautiful. I lived in the mountains growing up. It's a great place. We did not have a whole lot of agriculture. There were some farms kind of on flat places, but for the most part, it was a lot of cattle, livestock, because it's hard to farm on a mountain. You have to kind of make it level somewhere. And the water runs off and things run off when the water happens. We prefer those places, but true growth really happens in the valley. We were at Brooklyn's graduation Friday night, and Brother Trimble spoke. He's so great, and really I would encourage you guys to go look that up. And I told my husband it was so funny because there were so many scriptures and his thoughts were right along the line of this. And I said it might be better to just say, let's just watch Brother Trimble. He did a great job. But there's something about our perspective. So when we're in the garden, what does that look like? We can focus sometimes so much on how bad things are around us that we fail to see how great our God is. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Sarah Young is my favorite devotional writer, and I had her devotional stuck. I made a copy of it and stuck it in my Bible. And here's a piece of it. Make friends with the problems in your life. Though many things feel random and wrong, remember every problem can teach you something, transforming you little by little into the masterpiece I created you to be. The very same problem can become a stumbling block over which you fall if you react with distrust and defiance. The best way to befriend your problems is to thank me for them. It's not easy. The simple act opens your mind to the possibility of benefits flowing from your difficulties. And I saw this definition of ministry a while back, and it has stuck with me. Ministry is others being blessed or healed or whatever by the oil of what crushed you. You want to be anointed? That comes with crushing. You don't just waltz through life and everything is always perfect and everything is always good and be able to help someone else. My husband and I were talking on our way either to St. Louis or on our way home, but I've become much more sensitive to people dealing with illnesses since I've dealt with it. I tend to probably be a little more sympathetic. It's not just empathy anymore. I'm still there. Kidney transplant is not a cure. It has a whole new set of stuff. So, and I think sometimes we don't really grasp that because there may be people walking among us who are dealing with long-term illnesses, and because they're walking, we're like, oh, they must be fine. Everything's great. And even as a person, I could choose to start talking about all the stuff that comes along with being transplanted. I'm thankful for being transplanted. Don't get me wrong. I'm not on dialysis, but it comes with its own side effects. It comes with its own stuff. Any of you have been through things and you may be going through some sort of treatment, some long-term thing that's just wearing on you. And it may not even be an illness. It could be something physical. It could be something mental or emotional that just takes you down day by day by day. If we take the time and change our perspective and start looking at what God has done, He's kept me. Am I completely healed? No, but I still believe one of these days I'm going to go to an appointment and they're going to tell me I have 3 working kidneys and they have no idea how that happened. I have, from the very beginning of this journey, felt like God was going to heal me. If that and I prayed that, God, if this healing has to come medically, let that be. But if it can come miraculously, I'd love that too. I'll take it however you want to give it. Help me be thankful. Help me always keep my eyes on what you've done. And Brother Trimble put it this way, keep my eyes on the stars and not on the stench. When your head is up, when you're looking to Jesus, what's this? Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in His wonderful face. Then all this stuff, it's still going to be there. You're not changing anything. You're not changing anything but your perspective, which I do believe is our theme for the year. Look up. Keep your head up. Keep your head above the mess. It's still there. You can't change it. You can't do anything about it. But we know the one who can. So Jesus' greatest crushing wasn't Calvary. I don't believe that for a minute. I think that was His victory, quite frankly. I think His greatest crushing was in the garden when He went to pray all by Himself, nobody there. His disciples were there, but they were sleeping. What does the Bible say? He prayed so fervently. Great drops of blood, like great drops of blood came from Him, from His pores. I've seen people at conferences and stuff who pray face down, and they pray so hard like the blood vessels in their face break. And then their face is super red. Anybody else ever seen that? It's happened. But He prayed so hard. That was His greatest crushing, the flesh man, Jesus, taking on the sin of this world that didn't belong to Him. We want to be like Jesus. And what did He say in the garden? I've said it so many times, if it be possible, let this pass from me. I don't want to do this anymore. But I believe you have me here for a reason. And this is what I told the lady that's dealing with breast cancer right now. It came on just as a surprise. They had no idea. I made a point to go into every appointment, believing God was putting me in the path of someone. And that's the way I had to look at it. I couldn't look at it as all of the stuff that was going to happen to me, all the tests, all the blood, all the needles, all the stuff I don't like. I don't like doctors. That's why I didn't go. but God is putting you in the path of someone who needs you. So whatever you're going through, whatever appointment you may have, and I don't really care where it is, whatever you find in your life that's making you struggle, know you're there for a reason. And there's somebody there who needs your oil. They're not going to get it any other way. You're going to come in contact with people that nobody else in this building will ever come in contact with. Jesus said, not my will, but yours. We want to be more like Jesus. We have to visit the garden. We have to allow our will to be buried so the master gardener can create something new in us. Something new, something beautiful that changes our lives. How many of you have heard the song Flowers? It tore my heart out the first time I heard it. And then I was talking with a pastor who has gone through cancer, and he's like, man, have you heard that song Flowers? I'm telling you. And so I just want to share some of the lyrics here with you today. And Keely, you can put up that last slide. Well, blue skies and hillsides feel so far away, and I wrote in my notebook that I've seen better days than the ones as of late. I can't bear the weight. The rain won't stop pouring out my window pane, and I haven't left my bedroom in 76 days. I wish something would change because I'm losing faith, so I brought it up in a desperate prayer. Lord, why are you keeping me here? And then he said, child, I'm planting seeds. I'm a good God, and I have a good plan. So trust that I'm holding a watering can, and someday you'll see the flowers grow in the valley. So whatever the reason I'm barely getting by, I'll trust it's a season, knowing that you're by my side every step of the way, and I'll be okay. When I'm on the mountain looking down below, I'll see a valley of flowers that needed time to grow, and I'll thank you for the rain, the hurt, and days of pain, and I'll bring it up in a grateful prayer. Thank you, Jesus, for keeping me there. You know just what I need, and you've planted seeds because you're a good God. And you have a real good plan, and you hold my world in a watering can so I can have peace because flowers grow in the garden. Sometimes when you're in a dark place and you think you've been buried, you've actually been planted. It's all about the way you look at things and allowing God to touch our lives and to make us what he wants us to be. I assure you, there is no one that loves you like Jesus. And while the pain sometimes may feel too much, and the ache may carry and be so deep, he's a good God, and he has a good plan. And in the end, he has overcome. And because he overcame, we overcome.